I think it's fundamental that children, all children, learn how food is produced.
It teaches them to use their senses. They're outside, they're listening, they're touching the soil, hopefully, which is very good for them. They're digging, they're tasting, they're seeing, they're learning patience. It's also very good for them to see where their food comes from because they're less likely to waste food. There's no air miles. We don't want those air miles, we don't want that plastic. We want to be able to grow our own vegetables, which are infinitely better than any vegetables grown anywhere else. And also they're learning delayed gratification, which is something that children these days don't get a lot of.
We need more soil.
Okay.
And if they get involved from the very beginning, then they have every right to get excited when they have their first vegetables grown. And they pull them out of the ground with big smiles on their face and soil all over them, and they eat them and they think it's the nicest carrot they've ever eaten in their lives.
Working with nature and seeing the development of a plant from the seed to the actual vegetable that you're going to eat allows you also to have a certain respect both for nature and for labor. When you see how long it takes for a seed to become something that you can eat, then you appreciate that thing much more and you value it. You have to be patient. There is no way you can make a seed grow into a vegetable like in 2 weeks.
Have you ever seen any children playing with soil and mixing it with water and making the most delicious, sloppy, mucky mess and throwing it at each other? Soil is so good for children because aside from it being fun, the minerals and the particles that are in the soil and the bacteria and the mycelium that are in the soil are very good for us to touch because we are in fact sentient beings, and these particles that are in the soil actually help to make us happy, brings us closer to the earth.
Got the wheelbarrow. Good. Oh my. Well, that's good soil. Really good.
Teaching children or doing visual arts with children at the same time as allowing them to do things in nature through gardening is a fabulous combination because the visual arts are really a lot, very much about the same things that we see in nature, really paying attention to what surrounds us. We have to use our eyes, of course, a lot, but we also have to use our other senses, both when we are outside looking or caring for a plant, as when we are working with a drawing, making a sculpture, or creating something different with other mediums. It's really important for students, for children, to learn to identify shapes, patterns, colors, textures, all of this together. When you go out into the garden and are touching the soil, and then you find a rock, and then you're looking at the roots of a plant, all of them, then if you bring it into the classroom and create things with that, and you play with the textures, maybe using some of the most basic printing techniques, using the rocks to make just marks on a page, or then the roots, if they really pay attention to the roots, and maybe they can make some drawings of the roots. That allows anyone, really, not only kids, but adults as well. When you see these relationships, that allows people to better understand our world and ourselves, and really better understand how it is that things work around us, and to maybe appreciate everything a little bit more.
Not all children will learn from being in a classroom. It is vitally important that we get the children into other environments, in other situations. Something will spark in that child, even if it's planting or just being out or measuring the garden, what can we put where, planning it. All of those are different kinds of intelligences, and somewhere something will spark in a child. When you find that magic, that this is what makes me tick, you work on that, you take that knowledge, that intelligence, and you build on that.
That is magic.
Isn't it?
How did it do that?
So we soaked the oak galls in the rainwater for a few days, and the colour leached out of the oak galls into the water.
Kind of hold in. There.
The experiences out of the classroom, the places you bring them, they will remember far, far longer than anything they experience in a classroom.
I think this was a real holistic approach to the children's learning. The children were able to incorporate maths, science, geography, lots of history into the monk's garden. And I think when you're doing a project like this, it's very important that you can incorporate it into as many aspects of the curriculum as possible so that you're not missing out on something. And this project definitely allowed that integration into the curriculum. One of the children mentioned that their favourite thing that they enjoyed the most was drawing Fiona.
The children voted that to show that we were still in COVID, that I would be wearing a mask. So I was expecting a lot of similar pictures of a person wearing a mask, but actually a lot of the drawings, it was very clear it was me, and I was really surprised how they looked at other features other than the part of the face that was covered to do their drawings. And they really enjoyed planning and having a say in what actually happened and what was produced in the garden and how it was put together. Everybody could get involved and everybody could be good at it. All of them were delighted when they saw the things they had planted grow into these huge things. It didn't matter whether they had planted that individual plant, they were involved.
The children learned so many skills from David, the golden ratio and how it applies to art. Making their own ink using the oak galls from the school grounds. All those things would never have been done in the classroom. There was very hot weather at the time, so we wanted to reduce our water usage from the tap. So David suggested we go down to the river and collect the water. So each child had a 2-litre bottle or 2 2-litre bottles, whatever they could carry, and they used that then for the garden. This really gave them a sense of, this is our monk's garden because we're collecting water, we're putting in all this effort to go and get it.
I love the Monk's Garden in Ferns. It is a project that I think a lot of other schools should do because it teaches children where their food comes from and how to grow it. And also it teaches them to plan. It teaches them about the seasons because not everything grows all year round. And I think that children can benefit greatly from becoming the masters of their own bellies by growing their own food.